The following is a presentation of Muddy River Sports.
We are back on the tailgate for another episode of Schuck on a Truck. I'm Muddy River Sports editor Matt Schuckman, and it's a special one this week because I got two guests. Record-setting baseball player Lance Logsdon from Quincy University and All-American volleyball player Madison Norris, the QU power couple.
I wouldn't go that far.
that would be the Ravens, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but thank you guys for joining me. Obviously, we're coming up on senior weekend here for the Quincy University baseball team, which means it's your last weekend at home for the regular season.
Yep, for the regular season. Just hope to end it on a good note and coming here. You know, we got our rivals Jury. They're always a good team, and their back's kind of against the wall right now going into the postseason. So, you know, they're going to bring everything they got, and Scott Nasby's team's always very well coached, and it's not going to be an easy one for sure. We're going to have to play our best.
You've been through your senior weekend,
Yeah.
Last fall. Obviously an incredible season for the volleyball team. Any advice for him on how to handle the emotion of the weekend?
Well, we're very different people. So it was a very emotional weekend for me. There were a lot of tears for mine after the game, I'll say. But for him, he's not an emotional guy at all. So I don't know that tears will be shed this time.
I don't think it's going to be an easy one for me with how much this place is meant to me and how much we put into this place. I think it's going to be an emotional roller coaster for sure, knowing that it could be the last time playing at home and just everything this great place has brought me. It's not going to be an easy one for sure.
But you both have put a lot of time and effort into this place. And that's what makes it special. The people make it special, but the effort and energy you put into your crafts make it special too, right?
Yeah, 100%. Just the amount of people that have just invested all the time to us and gave us that opportunity. I think that's the main thing that makes it so hard because there's just such a great support system at Quincy for you to excel in ways that you never thought.
Well, for me too, the senior weekend was so emotional because for most of those girls, I spent every day. So other All-American Mac, Michaela Canablo, she was my roommate for 3 years.
Right.
And so her and I became really close, especially on the volleyball court, and plus several others. But I just know for her and I, especially being roommates, we were able to get up every day in the summer and go work out at 4:30 a.m. before.
I read about that.
Yeah. Before we had work and classes and everything else. So her and I bonded over special moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the senior night was very touching because we knew it was one of the last times her and I would ever play together. I think that's why too for him. You guys have a core group of guys that have been here together forever.
And it's one of those things you don't realize, but high school sports, it's probably a 50-50 practice to game ratio. And a lot of people don't realize how college, any college sport's a year-round thing. It's not like, you just pick it up and, it's a season time now. You're spending 95% of the time what you're doing is practice. So,
it's a job.
It is a job. So that's that's what makes it so tough when you put in all that time. And then it's just it's done now. I got to move on to something else when it's all you've known really.
You watched her go through an amazing volleyball season, one of the best ever in Quincy University history. What was it like watching her compete?
Oh, it was awesome. I was there as many games as I could be. I went to the GLVC tournament, which obviously that didn't go the best, but...
Why do you have to bring that up?
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up, but, but it, and not in a selfish way, but, seeing her walk off that court for the last time, it kind of hit me in a very weird way of this is almost done for me now. So it kind of made me look at this season in a different perspective of just go out there and have fun, compete. That's what this game's about. Just go out there and have fun.
Watching him, what's it like for you sitting in the stands here? And we're taping this outside of QU Stadium, so where he has a home.
Yeah. One of the biggest things, kind of like you just mentioned, for me this past season, going into my final season, knowing that it was the last time I had ever played volleyball, and coming off of last year, I had a pretty rough year. I didn't have definitely not my best year volleyball-wise, and I knew coming into this year it was the last time I'd ever play, and it was just one of those things, like you said, it was just like, just enjoy it. Like, this is it. This is it. Like, I don't want to look back and, like, regret my last season and regret, you know, not giving it my all. And that's why we did do the 4 a.m. workouts. That's why we did come in 4 hours extra every other day. Like, that's why we gave it our all. And I knew that I could look back and, you know, hey, I did the best I absolutely could. And, I mean, we hang out a lot. But this guy, I mean, since I've known him, like, he's in hitting extra, like, 7 hours a week. He's in there throwing with guys when everyone always jokes around, because when I first met him, everyone was like, yeah, good luck seeing him. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean?
Because he's always off
and
working on his craft.
everyone was like, well, I tell you what, like, that kid is in the gym, in, you know, batting cages more than anyone I've ever met, and they were not kidding. So, you know, it's been me and baseball competing for a spot.
But you have to be committed to that. If you want to reach the level you both have reached athletically, and obviously I'm putting together a story to go with this on his success, and his name is throughout the record book now. But to reach that level, you have to be committed. You can't just show up here on a weekend or show up to practice and be like, okay, I went through practice, good enough.
Yeah, and I would say the main thing that kind of, you know, thanking people is, you know, stuff comes to an end. Both my parents, you know, played college sports, and they kind of taught me that, I don't know, that way of doing it. Like, it's not, you're just not going to go out there and, you know, do whatever. Like, whenever I played travel sports, it wasn't just to play for fun. Like, that was me getting better, and then they were putting time into me, and basically they told me don't leave any regret on the table. You just got to do what you got to do, and whatever happens after that happens. So I just want to, that mentality that I, you know, kind of got over the years is because of my parents kind of instilling that into me is, you know, something I take a big credit to. Mom
and dad were athletes. Aunts and uncles were athletes. Was there any chance you were going to do something other than sports?
That's a good question, actually. I considered basketball there for a little bit, but then I realized that my future was in baseball. Yeah. So, you know, once I realized that, I knew it was just time to go. And another big one that I'd say, and he was technically an assistant baseball coach, but Andy Anderson, I mean, like, that guy, if you didn't go 110%, you weren't doing it. So, you know, all the summers and everything that we had together, like, that dude taught me what hard work was. Yeah. And then, like, kind of took it to another level after that.
Well, Coach A has had a lot of success in his own right as a coach, whether it's as a head coach with the basketball program or as an assistant with other sports.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the amount of, especially for a high school sport, the amount of expectation that guy had for every single guy, summer workouts, you know, practice, like, we went 110% every day, and I don't think a lot of high school programs, you know, have that expectation of we're going to win, but it was, we're going to do it right. And, like, the thing that I would say, he made everybody a better person when you walked out of that program, because you knew how to work hard, and it was because of that guy.
Okay, you don't reach the level you both reached without being competitive.
So, yeah.
So who's more competitive?
Me.
Yeah, her for
there was no doubt about that, huh?
Her for sure. But, like, what's crazy about that is, like, we compete, but, you know, you put the time in sports, all that kind of stuff. But when you're away from it, it's just better just to sit there and not talk about it and just, you know, talk about other stuff. Just anything to not talk about sports.
That was a rule.
Just to take your mind away from it. I mean, that makes it
no sports on date night.
No.
No, it was.
Try to stay away from it as much as possible. And I was bad about that at first because it was like 100% baseball. But, like, the more I just try to separate the field from, you know,
I'm just saying
other
we have
things.
That on footage.
Yeah.
He actually.
I try my best, but, you know, sometimes it comes out of me where, you know.
I was always really good about. It's sad to say, I'm not napping anymore.
Yeah.
But
you're actually a full-time employee now.
I know, isn't that crazy?
You're an adult.
I am. It's sad. But I was always way better at, like, once I leave the arena, I didn't talk about it. I didn't, like, my emotions there for, like, maybe 15 minutes were, you know, a little touchy if something happened during the game, if I didn't have the best game, if we lost a game we shouldn't have. I was a little touch and go, but after, like, 15 minutes, I was done. I have, like, grown up, and once again, going off of, like, my parents instilled in me, like, the sport isn't always about, you know, what's on the court, it's after. So if I can't separate sport from real life, and if I can't be a good person outside of my sport, so I didn't ever want that to trickle over. Like, I didn't want to be super rude and mean when I was in a bad mood because of a loss.
Well, I think one of the cool things for both of you, and you talk about that, being able to separate life from sports and that kind of stuff, is you both have great support systems. You both have families that are very invested in what your dreams and goals were.
Oh yeah, our families, we take a lot of pride in that. Our families, we say that all the time. We got very blessed with, like, incredible people on both sides. Like, my parents did everything, sacrificed absolutely everything for me to be in the position I am today. And his parents came to every single game they could. His parents were always reaching out, seeing if I needed something. I'm 6 hours from home.
Right.
I'm 6 hours away from my family, so it's
You're
not
6
like,
hours, he's 30 minutes.
He's 30 minutes. So his
difference.
parents, would go out of the way to make sure, like, I was okay during the week. Or when I was sick, Carrie would always come and see if I needed anything. But my parents are incredible. I talk to my mom every single day, like 4 times a day, like we FaceTime. I'm that type of person. But we have incredible families.
And that doesn't surprise me. I've been friends with his dad, well, since we were both in high school, and I'm friends with, you know, his entire family. So I get it. I get they're a special group. Including Grandma. Grandma sets the tone for all that.
Oh, yeah.
So, does the competitiveness carry over, though? If you're playing cards, a board game, whatever it is?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's a different story. So, you're never trying to lose at anything in life, so.
No, we're very competitive.
Does that also include if you're going to go out to dinner or planning a date night or something, like, who gets to decide what to do?
You actually think he plans date nights?
Yeah.
You actually think he does that,
I'm a little too
Schuck?
busy for that right now.
Well, this time of year, okay.
Yeah.
But when
round,
she's
he acts
in,
like he is.
when she was in volleyball season.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, I got to keep using the was.
Right?
Sorry.
I tried my best.
Yeah, no. He never plans those.
When you've been in those tough moments, when you've been struggling at the plate, or when you were going through what you went through last year and just weren't as crisp as you wanted, were you able to lean on each other?
Oh, yeah. You just got to, I mean, it's just, you just got to support. And that's, I mean, it's, people don't realize how tough it is, you know, mentally, what athletes are going through. And especially like college, whenever you can't perform, it's like on it, you know, it's really multiplied whenever you can't perform, because usually you're letting down your team in a big way when you can't. So, like, it really does weigh on you mentally, and having someone there to almost, I would say, psych yourself out to try to go out there and just, you know, snap out of it, because 99% of the time it's just a confidence thing. It has nothing to do with skill, you know, anything like that. Just, you know, getting that mental state of, I'd say, clarity and confidence, you know, having that support is huge.
Same for you. Was it nice to be able to lean on him when you needed to?
Yeah, I'd say that he's the type of guy that I didn't really have to say anything. He just kind of got it. He just kind of knew. And it was, we know each other probably better than we know ourselves at this point. And so I always feel like he just knew when I needed something. Like, we didn't have to say a word to each other, and he just knew. So that was probably the biggest thing during my hard times, is I didn't constantly have to tell him when I needed something, or just stuff like that, or he'd go out of his way to. I will say he doesn't do dates very well. He doesn't plan them. But I will say,
but he does take care of you, right?
Yeah, whenever I would go, like, Truman.
Gotta help you out, man.
Oh, yeah. You got to.
Truman. I had a terrible game against Truman this past season. And I got home, and he was like, you know, dear, I have dinner ready. Just come over when you're ready. Take your time. And so it was always little things like that. Like, he knew I needed something. Yeah. He knew that I wasn't in the best mood. And he knew that, you know, I'd snap out of it pretty quick when I got to him.
Can he cook?
He can grill.
Oh, yeah.
He can grill.
Okay.
He can grill.
I can grill. I wouldn't say cook, but I can grill.
I cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do the cooking.
I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't either.
Work on it.
I'll try.
Well,
Takeout.
You've got some time. I mean, before you actually have to settle in and be an adult, a full-time, employee somewhere or move on with life. That's when you got to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, we'll figure that part out next.
So he's just behind me now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you've already graduated. You're done.
He's graduated too.
He's graduated, but he what will this place mean to you guys when all is said and done and you kind of walk away? And I don't just mean the stadium. I just you in general. What's it mean to you guys?
I think it'll honestly take a little bit to fully wrap around what this place means to me, because when you're in the moment, I wouldn't per se take things for granted, but you don't realize what everybody puts into here and why these successes happen, because all the great people in place. And once you kind of take a step back and look at that from kind of a different perspective, I think I'll really, really appreciate it even more than already what I do.
See, I think I have a very different outlook on that, because QU was my second opportunity.
Right.
I went to DePaul University in Chicago for my first 2 years of college and just did not have a good experience there, and I was in a really bad place. Thankfully, my incredible parents were the ones that brought me out of it and actually convinced me to enter the transfer portal.
Okay.
So when I came to QU, it was immediately a breath of fresh air, and it was like God giving me another opportunity to be who I was supposed to be. So I think when I stepped foot on campus, it was the new perspective that he's talking about. When I stepped on campus, I was able to appreciate every single moment, and I was able to appreciate every single individual that came into my life, because I knew what the other side looked like.
Right. You answered my next question. My next question was gonna be, QU was the right place for you guys, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean,
down.
Both of us kind of had different situations. Schuck, you kind of know what I went through.
Right.
With everything, coming here out of high school, it wasn't option one.
Right.
I had other aspirations at the time, and
yep.
Some injuries plagued me and took away that opportunity. But shout out Josh Raby, I got to give it to him for being the best salesman of all time and selling this place to me. And
I still remember the phone call I got the night you committed.
Giving me a chance at a really, really successful baseball career. I give him all of that credit, because if I go to a different place and people don't believe in me that way, I'd say,
yeah.
And the chances I got, and everything that happened after my freshman year too, got hurt again, the belief in from him the whole time was unbelievable and super supportive, and I give a lot of it to him and just keeping me in that state where just keep going, and then once it kind of all clicked, it was like, okay, like this guy knew what he was doing, and it all worked out.
He knows a little bit about what he's doing when it comes to baseball.
Yeah, like it was just it was crazy how it all happened, and I thank him every day for like he said to me, you might not realize it now, but this is the right choice for you. And at the time, being a senior in high school, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
whatever.
Right.
And then I, looking back at it 5 years later now, I'm like, he was right. This was the right place for me. Everything was in place for me to have success because, he knew.
Well, I think that when you and I talked 5 years ago at that moment, it was kind of like, well, this is a good opportunity and we'll see how it goes. But we both knew you wanted something bigger at that moment.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just the path that my career was going in. It was like, not in an arrogant way, but it was like a detour, like,
yeah,
okay, like, it's not like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, because it was just, being a senior in high school and the career path I was on, it was just, it was weird because I got humbled really quick, and then it was like I was in a weird state after that. And then, once I, kind of I wouldn't say snapped out of it, but, you know, found that was my niche to be there. I'm like, okay, I'm good now. This is where I need to be present and work as hard as I can all the time.
It's worked out pretty well.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Going into this weekend, at home against Drury, senior weekend, final home regular season weekend. Found out as we record this on Wednesday evening that you guys are the number one.
Well, I
team in the region.
I don't know about that because everybody else is in alphabetical order except for us. But hopefully that means we're number one.
I assume it's number. From everything I was told, it was going to be number one. So
good.
We'll see. That one doesn't really matter though. It's the one here in a few weeks that matters, and there's some work to do between now and then.
Yep.
But you guys are on the trajectory to have something special happen if you stick to it and stay focused.
Yeah, 100%. You know, there's a core group of guys that have been here for 3, 4, 5 years now, and the one thing that everybody's missing is a ring.
Yeah.
There's not one person on this team that has a ring. We made 4 regionals, 1 conference 1 year. I was here, or a 3-way tie, but none of us have a ring. We have nothing to show for all the hard work we put in, and I think being so close last year, it was like bam right away. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't about the regular season, wasn't about this. It was getting back to that super regional.
Yep.
Game 2, game 3, and finishing the job this time. So we got to get there, obviously, but
right.
Everybody's head is in the right place.
Yes.
To do, it's not about regular season. It's not about this. I mean, we got to win those games, and we got to stay. We got Drury on Friday.
Yep.
But everybody knows the long-term goal is to go to Cary.
Yep.
And that's why I went down there and played Tampa, Rollins. All those teams competed against Central Missouri. Yesterday.
I mean, the reason for the schedule being the number one schedule in the nation, and all those good teams, is so that you're prepared.
Correct.
For this postseason.
Correct. And that game yesterday had postseason feel to it.
Yeah,
I mean, it just both starters, they kind of had it, and then it was a postseason game, and those are the games that you want to play in, so you're ready for them, so you're not stunned whenever something crazy happens.
And you know who got that 6-run rally started? That guy. Good at bat to start it, and everybody followed. That's a pretty good way to. Your final non-conference home game. That's a pretty good way to go.
Yeah. I'm at most of the games, so
yeah.
I see it all.
You need to be there. Now, are you going to be able to find? Okay, I don't want to jinx anything, but have you thought about Cary? Can you get time off to go to Cary?
I do as much as I can, and I travel as far as I can for this man. Okay, I'm wherever I can be, so we'll see.
Don't want to jinx anything, but I've already started making my own plans.
There's kind of a running joke right now. It's Kaluzniak's wedding that weekend too.
Oh, that's right.
So we're like, well, we hope we all don't make it to the wedding, Reg.
Yeah.
Well,
love you, but we got bigger plans.
Reg would understand.
Oh yeah, he already said I hope you're not there. So
they're gonna be streaming it on their phones during the wedding.
Yeah, they will too. They will. That's awesome. Well, I hope we get to maybe do this again, maybe in Cary. That'd be kind of
nice.
cool.
Hopefully the whole team's there.
I think we can get everybody in the bed of the truck.
I think that would be pretty awesome.
I know the guys would do it.
Oh yeah.
Now I don't know if my Schocks will take it, but we'll see. But it'd be worth it.
It would be worth it.
So let's see what happens. But first things first.
We got Drury on Friday. Yep, exactly.
So, guys, thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
It's been
awesome.
an honor of mine to be able to cover both of your careers, and you guys have been gracious throughout everything. Always willing to talk, win or lose, whenever, and I've had a blast.
Well, you make it easy. You're like the most incredible writer, so you make us look good.
But it's been a blast, and hopefully we got a few more things to write about.
Oh, hopefully a few more for sure.
So, for record-setting baseball player Lance Logsdon, All-American volleyball player Madison Norris, I'm Matt Schuckman. This has been another episode of Schuck on a Truck.
Muddy River Sports. Our home, our sports.